What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dispatch, episode 15. This is the weekly live show that I do, usually on Sundays, but sometimes Saturdays, where I break down the most interesting headlines in the world of film and occasionally physical media. So, right off the bat here, guys, we have a slower week. Not a ton of very interesting headlines to go over. Um, Yeah, we have some stuff. So a couple interesting things, but quantity wise, it's not a lot. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into it, shall we? This isn't so much news as it is just kind of like a quote from Andrew Garfield that I found kind of interesting. And he just kind of says how he would want to return as Spider-Man again in some capacity, which is not surprising, right? He's an actor, and actors like working and getting paid. But he says, I think it would have to be very weird. I think I would like to do something very strange. I would want to do something very unique, offbeat, and surprising. So that, as the sentiment, I enjoy. I like that he's not interested in just doing something, a little bit more conventional. And the thing about it is, there's so much rich lore to pick from in the comics where he could really do something really interesting, and I'm sure that there's avenues for that. Um, that wouldn't really that wouldn't compromise what they're doing with Tom Holland and stuff. So, and I thought he was one of the best parts of No Way Home. His whole arc, and especially the scene where he saves Gwen, or not Gwen, where he saves MJ. It was a very full circle moment that I really appreciated. What's up, brother? Yeah, yeah, man. Jersey represent, boy. All right, so let's get into more actual news. Geez, why do we have 7 people already? That's a lot. We got a 40-second teaser trailer for Weapons. I did actually watch this. I know I'm not watching trailers. I say that almost every week now. I talk about how I don't watch trailers. But I watched this, and it's really creepy, man. Like, it's these, like, look at this shit. It's these kids, like, what are they doing? He's like pretending he's an airplane or something. Really creepy stuff. I watched this trailer because it is only 40 seconds. It doesn't show you a lot. And right here, it's got this MaybrookMissing.com thing, which is doing like is very reminiscent of Blair Witch. Let's see if I can do that actually. This is like actual missing people. Well, anyway. Oh shit, where are we all in Jersey? That's crazy. What's up, all restless? Basically, this marketing for Weapons is very reminiscent of Blair Witch. The website looks like it was made in like 2004. Really cool stuff. This trailer doesn't give away a lot. It's just got some creepy imagery. And yeah, this is coming out in August, if I'm not mistaken. So this is one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I cannot wait for Weapons. Moving on. How do we have 11 people? This is crazy right now. For me, that's a lot. We got casting announcements for Ready or Not 2. We got, so first of all, Samara Weaving and Catherine Newton. I'm guessing Catherine Newton is going to be like a sister character or something. And then Sarah Michelle Gellar, possibly the mom. Maybe this is like about her side of the family now. And then we also have, I don't know who this guy is, but Nestor Carbonell is cool. I liked him in Bates Motel. David Cronenberg is an interesting inclusion. And Elijah Wood. So I'm excited for Ready or Not 2. Um, that's funny. Uh, I'm ready for Ready or Not 2. I think it's gonna be dope. I really like the first one. Um, so hopefully this measures up. And we're a little bit behind because last week's dispatch we did on Saturday, so I'm actually covering like 8 days of news as opposed to 7. So that's why you probably have heard this announcement already. But here we are. um, we got a trailer for I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really excited about this movie at all. Um, I didn't watch this trailer. I'm kind of scrubbing through it right now. Yeah, I don't know. I will definitely see this. Yo, what's up, Eli? How you doing? I'll definitely see this, but this feels like this should have come out probably like 3 years ago. Um, or whenever like the Candyman movie came out. Because like Halloween 2018 certainly kicked off a trend of these horror movies being remade with the same title. Halloween, Candyman. Scream did it intentionally. It's self-aware on Scream's behalf, but I don't think that makes them any better than than those movies. Like it's still the same thing. Um, Texas Chainsaw, the one on Netflix. But we're in 2025 now, man, and this just feels like I don't know. We should have had this a lot sooner. Not that I've been awaiting anything like this, but it just feels like that trend's kind of petered out a little bit. Um, so excuse me. Boy. So Dwayne Johnson confirmed that his Martin Scorsese directed Hawaiian crime epic starts production early next year. We talked about this on past episodes. Basically, like I saw this in a Discord that I'm in, and I jokingly said, "Nothing says Scorsese like Hawaii," which I think kind of summarizes all my feelings about this. Like, this is only happening because of this guy. It's not happening because of this guy. It's happening because of this guy and how fucking popular The Rock is. So, and you got Leo in there because he's Leo, and you know you throw Emily Blunt in, and I don't know, it just feels all very formulaic and not organic to me. And just knowing how old Scorsese is now, and you know this could very well be his last movie, and I don't know, and I could be singing a totally different tune whenever this comes out, and it winds up being an absolute banger. But I don't know. I'm just not excited by it. The premise does not excite me. I don't think of Hawaii when I think of Scorsese, but you know, that's it. That's all I got to say about that. We finally got an update on the A24 Friday the 13th prequel series. Um, hmm. Uh, I mean, the InSnyder is not the most reliable source. I mean, I think that we'll probably will get this movie because of how popular The Rock is. Um, but anyway, this was first announced in like 2022 or something, and it's had some creative differences with that guy Brian Fuller. He was the showrunner. They got rid of him. They brought someone else in. There was like a writer's strike in between, I think. So this thing's had no shortage of difficulties. They finally cast Linda Cardellini like 3 or 4 weeks back. So like that was the first like casting announcement that we got, which you know is good because it makes you feel like this thing might actually happen, where before there was just no movement on this thing whatsoever. So now that we got Linda Cardellini in here, I would imagine that we could have like a trailer for this by like October of this year, I would like to think. And then maybe we'll get the show sometime in the, I don't know, spring of 2026 maybe. Met the director of Never Hike Alone series, Vincent DeSanti. He shared some inside info on the show. Each season will cover a film. Like a different film in the series? I don't understand that. If this is a prequel, then how is it covering the films? I don't know what you mean by that necessarily. But yeah, man, I am excited for this, just by virtue of the fact that it's the only Friday the 13th material we will have gotten since 2009. So, yeah, I don't know. I wish this was a movie, honestly, but A24's inclusion is very interesting to me. That's not a combination I ever would have expected to get. Yeah, I'm really just curious how they're going to handle this. Like what is the show going to look like? It was announced like 2.5 years ago, and pre-production has just now begun. So yeah, hopefully as the weeks and months go on, we'll continue to get more updates on this, and we can talk about it here. Nicholas Winding Refn is making a new movie. I think he hasn't made a movie in a while. I don't remember what his last movie was, but it was a while ago. And it's called Her Private Hell, starring Sophie Thatcher, Charles Melton, Christine Froseth, and Havana Rose Liu. I don't know these last two people, but I do know Charles Melton. I think he's pretty good, and I like Sophie Thatcher quite a bit. So this will be interesting. I don't know if we have any plot details about this yet. Yeah, I don't necessarily know what this is supposed to be about. But I like Nicholas Winding Refn. I think he's a pretty good filmmaker, and I like Sophie Thatcher. So if you feel the same way, then keep your eyes out for this. We got this teaser trailer for Predator Badlands, which is the follow-up to Prey. Same director, I believe, Dan Trachtenberg. And I did watch this trailer as well because of the teaser, and I felt like it would be safe. I know I'm so arbitrary with my trailer, but it's sometimes you just know, like if certain movies are okay to watch. Yeah, so it's the same director. So right here, Elle Fanning is a Weyland-Yutani synthetic. So this is cool as shit because this is just setting up for another Alien versus Predator movie. And we're really living in a great time period right now because not only is Predator making good movies again, but Alien is also making good movies. And there was a time where that just simply wasn't the case. So we're living in a real renaissance right now. Like this looks pretty sweet. I know you guys can't hear it, but I really like Elle Fanning. I think she's cool to have here as an android. A lot of people are commenting on the look of the Predator here and saying how it doesn't look good and it looks weird. I think the eyes mostly is where I because I do agree. I do think it just looks kind of odd. But people are getting really weird about it and like making it political and like just just making weird statements about it when it's more than likely just kind of weird looking effects. Um, but I look at this and I think, okay, well, this is just one aspect of the movie, and I'm not really gonna let that ruin my excitement for it or anything because I really do enjoy the way that they're kind of tying they're further tying the Alien and Predator movie like worlds together, which is exciting. Um, I wonder who would direct an Alien versus Predator movie because right now it's like it's Fede. Fede's supposed to do an Alien Romulus sequel, and Dan Trachtenberg is now doing his follow up to Predator. So I wonder who would get to do the AVP, or if it would be someone totally different. But yeah, people are just getting weird on Twitter. That's not a good place to go for like opinions or anything. Um, so yeah, this is just also saying that she plays an android. Xenomorphs and Predators once again in the same universe. Yeah, people. I don't like. All right, like it doesn't look great, but like people will fixate on shit like this and just decide that the movie's bad now. Like when you haven't even seen it. And furthermore, this could wind up looking different. Like it happens all the time that things are a certain way in a trailer and then they don't look the same. I mean, like, granted, that's probably not the case here because this is, I mean, but then again, this comes out in November, so they could have time to change things. I mean, they did it with the Sonic movie and whatnot. So, and that's not even to say that they necessarily need to change it. Like it's a trailer. Like trailer looked cool, but I agree with the look of the Predator sucking. The bone mask in Prey wasn't good, but movie was great anyway. I liked the bone mask in Prey. I thought that was a cool look for the Predator. But I don't know. I'm not someone who's going to see something like this and just make up my mind about the movie ahead of time. Like, there's so much more to be excited about. This Predator is like the protagonist, so it's the first time where we're following a predator as the protagonist, and there's no like human main character who has to be like an audience surrogate. Like I feel like for the longest time, it's like with the Godzilla and vs Kong movies, like everyone's like the worst part is all the human stuff that they have to shove in there. Really all anyone wants to see is the King Kong fighting Godzilla, right? And so I feel like this is what we're getting here with this, where we're following the Predator, and like that's a positive in my opinion. And again, they're teasing Alien vs Predator again, so like I don't really care about this, to be honest. Like I have to see the movie first before making up my mind. So excuse me, guys. David Fincher's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel is reportedly titled The Continuing Adventures of Cliff Booth. The film will follow Brad Pitt as Cliff Booth while he navigates Hollywood as a studio fixer. So I like the framing of like Cliff Booth as the main character, because in a sense he is kind of the main character of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like he shares it with Leo, but I think he's definitely the more interesting character. So and he feels like someone who just kind of is always in the middle of random situations. So it does make sense to kind of have him be the the main character of the sequel. And I do think Leo is going to be in this too. Um, to what extent I don't know, but yeah. I mean, I like that this kind of tells us like uh Brad like Cliff Booth is the main character sort of. And I think they said it even takes place in the 70s, so that'll give it a fresh coat of paint. You know, more things for him to get into. um, the holdover star Dominic Sessa is going to play Anthony Bourdain in a new biopic from A24, which is exciting. Uh, it'll take place in '76, following a young Bourdain. Obviously, Dominic Sessa is a young man. This might be the first and only biopic I've ever been like actually excited for. Like, biopics do not do anything for me. I can't think of one where I was ever like, "Oh, I can't wait to go and see that." But I really like Dominic Sessa, loved The Holdovers, and I think Anthony Bourdain is or was a very interesting guy. I read a couple of his books, and being in the culinary profession myself, I really resonated with a lot of the things that he says in his books. So I'm super, and he's lived a very interesting life if you know anything about him. So yeah, I'm very in on this. I think this will be a good movie. Oh, I meant to put this with the alien stuff, but yeah, this is not so much news, just a little Easter egg. An alien skull resembling one from Independence Day appears in the Predator Badlands trailer. So that would be this one right here. Um, yeah, I mean, it seems pretty clearly like it's an Independence Day alien. So that's cool. I don't know if that necessarily means anything on a larger scale, but if nothing else, it's a pretty fun little Easter egg. So that's pretty cool. Um, so Flying Lotus, he just had his first movie come out, Ash, which I did a review for. Thought it was pretty cool. Looks good, sounds good, little light on story. But anyway, he just revealed that he was signed on to write music for the Blade movie before production paused. And then he went on to say that I guess we are so far from it even being a possibility now, but yeah, I was signed on to write music for the new Blade movie before it fell through. Maybe it'll come around again, but I doubt it. It would have been fun though. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on with this Blade movie. I would be very surprised, honestly, if it ever happened. Because at this point, all signs are pointing to this movie is never going to happen. So, yeah, I don't know, and maybe it shouldn't happen. Honestly, I feel like the public perception around it is so bad at this point that it just doesn't really need to happen. Excuse me, it doesn't really need to happen. So this was something that kind of annoyed me a little bit. Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos says that releasing movies in theaters is an outmoded idea for most people, and that Netflix is saving Hollywood. What is the consumer trying to tell us? That they like to watch movies at home. Uh, and then the top comment is someone posting this scene from Oppenheimer. where they detonate the bomb and, like, what this was like watching this with a crowd. So, let's look at, like, Netflix original movies 2025. Um, like Netflix original movies are not good. I'll just say that. Uh, like they have the Knives Out stuff, which is cool. They got Happy Gilmore 2 coming, which jury's out on whether that'll be good. They got Guillermo del Toro doing their Frankenstein movie. But like they also have just trash, just absolute trash. Like look at the Electric State. Like look at, you know, God, I can't even think of them because they're not relevant. Netflix movies are not relevant. It's and this is going to tie nicely into the last thing we're talking about today, which is Sinners and how absolutely incredible that movie's doing at the box office. But like you don't generate word of mouth that Sinners is generating with Netflix movies. You just don't get that because people when you make a concerted effort to leave your house and you go to a place, a physical location, you know, you have to get a babysitter, you have to drive, you know, it's a whole thing. So you're making a conscious decision to go see a film. And when you're in a movie theater, there's an expectation that many I will hope that you adhere to, which is that you're not on your phone. When you're watching a movie at your house, you can be on your phone, you could be doing anything. So there's a less of an emphasis on attentiveness, which is definitely an issue for a lot of people. A lot of people have like TikTok brain and brain rot, and they can't, especially the younger generation. I hate to sound like I'm on my soapbox or anything like that, but there is definitely a lack of attention span. So like that's what he is talking about here. Like people want to watch movies at home, but like that's because there's nothing else to do. Like they're just watching the movie because that's all there is to do at home. If that makes any sense. Like so yeah, basically if your core audience just watches movies at home, then yeah, your numbers are going to back that up. But the thing is that people who actually value really like quality films and the cinematic experience, excuse me, you know, they are going to go seek that out, and you simply can't have that at home. Like I find the whole idea just ridiculous, honestly. So that brings us to our final talking point here. Like let's take all that logic and apply it to Sinners right here, and just keep that in mind. This idea that people want to watch movies at home when I'm talking about these stats right here. So Sinners has earned an incredible $45 million in the film's second domestic weekend. That's a 6% drop. 6% drop is unheard of. It's unheard of. One of the smallest box office drops for a major movie in modern history, almost matching its opening weekend figure. Now, if you know anything about the box office, you know that the majority of movies make the majority of their money in the first weekend. And that's not to say that the second and third weekends aren't as profitable, but for the majority of movies, that's when they make the most money, is in the opening weekend. The amount of insane word of mouth that Sinners has been generating has led to this insane figure of this 6% drop, which you just do not see. Now, I ask you, if Sinners had just been a Netflix movie, like if Ryan Coogler had signed a deal with Netflix and just dumped Sinners on Netflix, you know, may it have gotten some of that word of mouth? Possibly. You know, the whether I agree with it or not, the fact that something is on Netflix does make it more accessible. Most people have Netflix. So there's a strong likelihood that a lot of people would have seen it. You look at things like Bird Box and other shit like that, where it kind of generates a viral moment similar to what Sinners is experiencing right now. But the thing is that Sinners is a very cinematic movie, and I don't care how great your home viewing setup is, nothing is going to replicate that like a movie theater, like an IMAX movie theater. And not only that, but you're getting to experience it in a crowded theater with other people, and you're sharing that experience with them. And that's not always a good thing. Sometimes you get a really ignorant crowd. But on the flip side of that token, you can also have a crowd that elevates your experience, where maybe I could have seen Sinners in a theater by myself, and that would have been a fine experience. But when you see Sinners in a theater that is packed with people who are all responding to the material in not a distracting way, but in a way that makes it more of an immersive experience and more of an overall enjoyable experience, that is way more preferable, and it can actually enhance like a score for a movie. Like take The Strangers Chapter 1, right? Really, really bad movie. And if I had seen that movie by myself in a theater with nobody else but me, I would have walked out of there just in a bad mood. But when I saw Strangers Chapter 1, I was in a crowded theater, and everyone in the theater was like collectively roasting the movie. It's one of the few times ever where I've been in a theater where I was okay with people talking, because it was actually making the overall experience more tolerable, because it was such a bad movie. But everyone was just making fun of it and ripping on it. So you can have experiences in the theater that are worse if you get a really awful crowd, or you can have a crowd where it actually makes it a better overall experience. And the point is that you just can't have that at home. And, you know, if there's people out there who would have it so that all movies just come straight to streaming, day and date, I mean, I would push back against that with, you know, everything that I have. I just don't agree with that. Anyone who's ever had a positive experience in a movie theater should be able to tell you that. Like, I don't even think this is even a hot take. But yeah, man, I mean, Sinners is just having an absolutely historic run right now. We really don't see things like this. And having seen the movie, I can tell you that it lives up to this hype. It's really, really good. It's a great film. And then the last thing I'll say is that Warner Brothers film chief Michael DeLuca defends the deal to give Ryan Coogler the rights to Sinners after 25 years. So this was not something that I was really privy to, but apparently there is a practice in Hollywood where if you make the right deal, as Ryan Coogler has done, you can get the rights to your movie after a certain amount of time. Apparently this is just not something that happens. It's very unprecedented, but because of, you know, especially the themes of Black ownership and this being a very deeply personal story to Ryan Coogler, you know, they made the decision to give him the rights to the movie, meaning that he can do whatever he wants with it. He owns it. It no longer belongs to Warner Brothers. Yeah, I wasn't really privy to like the inner workings of this sort of stuff, but I just found this really interesting because apparently this just never happens. Well, as you're confirming here. So found this very interesting and just a further testament to how much Warner Brothers actually seems to value Ryan Coogler. Um, this is definitely them saying like, "Hey, man, we want you to work with us. Like, we appreciate what you're doing." And he just made them a shit ton of money. Sinners is on track to make like over 300 million domestically, I think, or worldwide. I can't remember the exact, but regardless, huge success. So, yeah, man, good shit right here. Good shit. So, all right, guys. So that's it for me tonight. That's all the news I have for you. I'm about to go watch The Last of Us episode 3. So look out for a review of that tomorrow, and look out for my Halloween 2 video that I'm working on. I'm writing the script for it right now. It's very close to being done, and then from there I'll be able to get it recorded and edited relatively quickly. So taking a little longer than I had anticipated, but that is coming your way shortly. So yeah, and then Tyler and I did our Talks from the Shelf episode 10 a couple nights back, where we ranked our top 5 A24 movies. That's on the channel now if you want to go check that out. It was a good time. We had a good time discussing A24 movies. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Hope you enjoyed this. And yeah, take care and watch more movies.